Okay, the first thing we're going to do is I've got 2 sticks of butter here in my mixer. And we're going to take the 2 sticks of butter, and I've got 2 cups granulated sugar. And we're just going to take these and we're going to cream our butter and our sugar together. Yeah, we got our butter and our sugar creamed together, so what we're going to do now is we're going to put 2 eggs. I got 2 fresh eggs here. Then we're just going to cream this together. Okay, I think that's good enough. So in my separate bowl, right here, I'm going to mix up my dry ingredients. And I've got 2½ cups of all-purpose flour. I need 2 teaspoons of baking powder. And I need 1 teaspoon of baking soda. Y'all, I can tell you, when it comes fall, that's just one of the things I look forward to is apples and pears coming off the trees. And you can adapt this recipe and put pears in it instead of apples. And that would be wonderful. So I got 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of baking soda. I need about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. And I need 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. But it just seems like this time of year is when I really want to start to bake. And I'm going to be doing a lot of baking. We're going to be making candy and cakes and pies. And we might even throw some main dishes in there. It seems like the older that I get, the more of a sweet tooth I get. Of course, I've always loved pies and stuff, but it seems like anymore I'd rather eat dessert than than a main dish. Isn't that awful? Okay, we got our dry ingredients mixed in there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add this to our creamy butter and sugar and egg mixture. And this comes together pretty fast. Whoops. So I'm going to turn this on. We're going to mix this on low till it's mixed up really good. Okay, as you can see, our mixture is it's a dense batter. It's almost like cookie dough. What we're going to do is we're just going to add about 3 tablespoons of milk. We've also still got to put in 3 cups of diced apples. And what I used is what I had in the refrigerator. And I had several small Gala apples, and that's what I'm using. And I used my handy dandy little dicer here. I don't know if y'all have got one or seen one, but I love these things. And we are going to put our apples in. I'm going to push some of this dough off of this blender here. Now, I've got about 1 cup of walnuts. You can use pecans if that's what you like. Or if you don't like nuts, you can leave them out. And I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Now I'm going to turn this on, and it's probably going to jump around like crazy. Woo! There's quite a bit in there. And you don't want to just stir this too much, just enough to blend it up a little bit. I'm going to bring it up, and we're going to call it good. Well, this is already smelling good, and it is. It's a thick mixture. So I'm going to get this off here, and I'm going to get the rest of my mixture off my hook, my blender, and then we're going to get it in our pan. Okay, now we're going to get it in our greased pan. Now I just greased it, I didn't flour it. We're going to try to get all this out of here. I'll tell you, this is one of the best cakes, apple cakes you'll ever make. And when you go to baking this, your house is going to smell so good. It's going to smell like fall, for sure. I just love these kind of cakes. Another cake that I really love is the old-fashioned oatmeal cake with the boiled icing that you put on top. We'll have to make that sometime. I haven't made one in years. I used to make them for my kids. Now I'm just going to spread this out in my pan. And like I said, we're going to make a caramel glaze. And we'll be putting that glaze on this cake as soon as it comes out of the oven, because the cake needs to be hot when we put the glaze on, so that it really soaks in all that caramel glaze, and it'll make that cake so moist. You can see all them apples. It's gonna be good. And try to get it spread out as even as you can to the edge. Okay, and let's go put this in the oven. 350 oven for 50 to 60 minutes. Okay, so now what's going to take this cake over the top is the caramel glaze that we're going to put over it. And it's just going to really soak down in that hot cake, and it's just going to make it ooey gooey and really good. So we just got a few ingredients here, so let's get started. I'm going to turn my back burner on about medium-high heat. We're going to add, I've got 1/4 cup of buttermilk. I've got a 1/2 cup or 3/4 cup of sugar. Sorry about that. And I've got 1/2 cup of butter. And we need 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And we need a tablespoon of Karo syrup. And we're going to be adding vanilla, but we'll add that at the very last. Get all that out of there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to let this butter melt. We're going to let this cook down, and we're going to let it caramelize. It's going to have to come up to a boil. Once it comes up to a boil, we'll boil it for about 1 minute. Then we'll take it off the heat, and we'll put our vanilla in it, and it'll be ready for our cake. You see how the butter's melted? And it's starting to bubble, but it's not at a rolling boil yet. But it's fixing to get there. You know, there's so many cakes that, so many vintage cakes, so many old-fashioned cakes. And I find myself going back to the old recipes over and over. And there's so many good new recipes out there. But I tend to still go back to the old recipes. And this is one of them. And this is, like I said, one of the best apple cakes you'll ever eat. Now I can see it's fixing to start boiling. And you see when I stir it, it doesn't stop boiling. It just keeps boiling as I stir it. So we're going to give it 1 minute. We're going to give it 1 minute and let it boil just like this. Then we'll take it off the heat and put our vanilla in there. Anytime that you take a hot cake and put some kind of a glaze on it like that, and it soaks down into that cake, it makes such a wonderful moist cake. You can see how it's boiling. And it always just makes a wonderful, wonderful cake. So don't let it scorch, just keep it stirring it. And it's a boiling. A rolling boil. I know I've told this story before. My grandpa, he wasn't much of a sweet eater. But when he did eat sweets, it would be Grandma would make him a little molasses cake, gingerbread cake. He didn't want cake with icing on it. Or she would just make him a little pan of a yellow cake, and he did it hot with butter smeared on it. Okay, it's been a minute. I'm going to take it off the heat. Put me just about a teaspoon of vanilla. Stir that up. And you see how it's turning colors, getting that caramelized look to it. So now we're just waiting on our hot cake to come out of the oven. Wowza guy, look how good the cake looks. Now I want to tell y'all, the recipe calls for 50 to 60 minutes in a 350 oven. My oven, my gas oven, it took about 45, 46 minutes and it was done. So you just have to really watch it. I would set your timer at 45 and check it from there. And the caramel glaze is beautiful, and I'm telling you, it tastes so good. But what we're going to do while this cake is still hot, we're going to pour this caramel glaze over the top. Now I'm not poking any holes in the cake. I may have said that we poke holes in it, and I forgot that we don't poke holes in this cake. We just put it on while it's hot. Oh my, I'm so excited. Not had this cake in a long time. Look at that caramel glaze. I'm going to spread it out, and it's just going to soak into this hot cake. Soak down the sides. This is going to be the best thing you ever ate. And you've seen that it didn't take very long to make this caramel glaze, and it is fantastic, y'all. I can't say enough about how good this glaze is. And it just took no time to whip it up. It'd be glorious on ice cream or anything. So we're going to let this set a little while. I'm going to go see what Mr. Brown's doing. And when he gets done outside, we may come in. And I'm sure he's going to want to try it. So there you go. This will be the best apple cake you ever ate. So what do you think about the cake?
This is the best apple cake I've ever eaten.
And I didn't tell him to say that either.
This is one of my absolute favorite cakes.
It's still warm, isn't it?
Still warm. It's good.
Good stuff. So I hope y'all like this recipe. Y'all try it. Because I guarantee y'all gonna like it. It was easy to put together. So it's a good fall apple cake recipe.
It's good anytime.
Anytime. So we'll see y'all guys later, probably in a couple of days. And God bless everybody and have a wonderful, wonderful weekend.